Hi, I'm Claudia Black, and I'm here to address the subject of relapse. But I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about one of the most tragic maritime disasters in history, the Titanic. It was just before midnight on April 14th in 1912 where the Titanic would strike an iceberg that was about 95 miles south of the Grand Banks of Newfoundland. Of more than 2,200 people aboard, 1,513 would die. Now, this was a ship that was hailed to be unsinkable. And even as that ship was going down, people aboard assumed that there was no serious problem. In the telling of the story to a group of people in early recovery, if they were to put themselves on that ship, knowing what the outcome would be, most are going to believe that they're going to be in that group that was saved. It's been commonly stated that as many as 70% of all chemically dependent people who attempt to stop drinking or using will experience a relapse, and oftentimes more than once. And for most, as you know that you would survive the Titanic, you know that you're in that 30% who won't be relapsing. With a little bit of time, clean and sober, and armed with a little bit of knowledge, it's very easy to move into the illusion of immunity. The illusion. Now that is the facade that we create in our mind, that we are immune to what 70% of alcoholic addicts experience, a relapse. A relapse occurs when an addicted person becomes clean and sober, has a period of continuous sobriety, and then resumes their use of alcohol or other drugs. I've worked in the field of chemical dependency for over 20 years, and in that time I've had the honor of witnessing hundreds, if not thousands, of both men and women of every age recover from chemical dependency. I've also witnessed some people put together several weeks to a few months of sobriety before they relapse. And I've witnessed people who've relapsed after a few to several years of sobriety. One of my most poignant memories has been in working, though, with a man who had over 30 years clean from alcohol, who within just 3 days of having started to drink would be hospitalized because he was so physically sick. He was as spiritually and emotionally bankrupt as he had been 30 years ago when he first quit. Some people will die in their relapse. Others will remain chronic relapsers. And yet even more will ultimately find continuous sobriety and a quality to that sobriety. But anyone in recovery is prone to relapse. To assume and simply hope that it will not occur is denial. You must take a proactive stance. First and foremost, for ongoing recovery, the desire to quit drinking and using has to be there. Secondly, a commitment to recovery needs to be reaffirmed on a daily basis. And certain basics need to be addressed when somebody has a history of relapse, such as, is there a commitment to an ongoing program of recovery? Is there a willingness to follow direction? I would like to take a look at issues that I believe are often overlooked for the person who is relapse prone. To give yourself a better chance to stay clean and sober, to be a part of that 30%, today I will delineate a path that makes it more possible to route you safely through the icebergs in recovery. There are 4 icebergs that I want to talk about. Now, the first is overconfidence. Overconfidence is the belief in your own ability in which to handle situations without a respect for the insidiousness of addiction. Let me say that again. Overconfidence is the belief in your ability in which to handle situations without a respect for the insidiousness of addiction.